Hello, how you doing? It's Phil Thatch, and I'm currently hiking at Harrison Bay State Park at the Bay Point Loop Trail. And today's Halloween, October 31st, and it's still cool enough, or warm enough, I should say, to wear shorts and short sleeves. Crazy. Used to, it'd be long pants and jackets weather by now, but we're definitely having a warm autumn, kind of a dry autumn too. And I have the Z8 with me today, and I've brought 3 lenses. I brought the Viltrox 16mm f1.8 ultra wide. I brought the 24-70 f4 kit lens from Nikon, and I brought the TT Artisan 100mm f2.8 macro lens, just in case I see a mushroom. But anyway, I'm kind of in a landscape photography frame of mind today, and I just gotta find something to make a photograph of here on this 4.5 mile loop. Wish me luck. I found something I like enough to make a shot of. It's this tree right here, and right beside it is this tree with this crazy curve to it, and then straight in the background is another tree with a curve. And I stepped over into this area right here with the 24-70 f4, kind of like this, and made a shot. I think I'm going to square crop it, and it's kind of partly cloudy today, so sometimes it's full cloudy and sometimes there's sun sprinkling through, and I had to kind of wait until there was some sun sprinkling through. But I just made the shot handheld, and whoa, leaf just fell down and hit the camera, and hopefully it comes out pretty cool. Here's the first picture. This is 62mm. This was handheld. I made my focus point on this larger tree, and I wanted to also feature these 2 trees that had a similar bend to them in the background. I shot this at f5.6, so there would be some depth. I didn't want to f11 it and have almost everything in focus. This is ISO 640. I used auto ISO for this handheld shot, 1/160th of a second. And I thought I would make this a square crop, but it ended up being a 4:5 crop that worked the best for this shot. And this is probably my least favorite shot of the day. I found my next subject. This is, I don't know, maybe 20 yards off the trail, but I looked into the forest and I saw this tree with this amazing vine growing up it. You can see it starts here and just goes up and strangles this tree. And I thought it looked really cool, and I made another shot using the Z8 and the 24-70 f4S kit lens that I bought used from Phil over at Photo Gear Fun. This shot was also handheld. This is 70mm 1/320th of a second. This one's also f5.6, and auto ISO landed at 280. And this one has lots of separation between the subject tree with this strangling vine growing up it in this symmetrical looking pattern. And I just really, really like the way this turned out. This is probably my second favorite photograph of the day, using the 24-70 f4S lens for all the photos in today's video. And of course, all the photos are also using the Nikom Z8. The Bay Point Loop Trail is surrounded by water, and sometimes the trail is away from shoreline and sometimes it comes pretty close. And right now the water is down for wintertime. They raised the water all the way up to where this area behind me is in the water. I'd be standing probably waist or maybe even chest deep where I'm at right now. But this time of year the water is down, and they keep it down all winter. And there is a tree down in the water right here. And there's a hill on the other side of the lake in the background, and the clouds are pretty attractive. And I've got a 50mm shot composed with the 10-stop neutral density filter on, and I'm shooting about 8 seconds, which smooths the water out really nicely. It doesn't destroy the clouds. They still look mostly like clouds, although they are moving ever so slowly, so there is a little bit of long exposure look in those clouds. But anyway, I think this may be This may end up being the shot of the day. I'm shooting it with a 2-second timer, f11, 10-stop neutral density filter for 8 seconds. And it's not the most wonderful smelling location to do photography, because the place that worked best for my composition is right next to a dead fish here on the bank of the lake. So that's not all that wonderful, but I think this shot may be worth it. So this is my favorite photograph of the day. This is the 43mm shot at 8 seconds. Used a tripod for this one, obviously, f11. My focus point was on the tree here in the foreground, and I'm still pretty good in terms of focus on the background. It's not tack sharp in the background, but that doesn't really matter. And it's ISO 64. This is full manual, no automatic ISO. If I'm doing a handheld shot, I'll turn on automatic ISO. And if I'm doing a tripod shot, I'll let the shutter speed go really long and set my ISO as low as it will go. So here's some things I did to this photo, just some basic global edits here in the tone and presence panel. And up here, I made 2 masks. I did a mask where I just masked the entire mountain or hill in the background. I think I used select object and just kind of painted this whole thing, and then when I hit select, it as you can see, it highlighted the mountain pretty well. And what I did to that was I increased the exposure by 0.2 of a stop, and I reduced the highlights -83, and that made this a little bit brighter in the background, and it gave it a little more depth. I'm going to turn it off now. So there's without the adjustment, and there's with the adjustment. Without, with, without, with. For my other adjustment, I used a linear gradient, as you can see here, and the pink area is what's affected. So not very much. Mostly I was wanting to adjust the sky just a little bit. I didn't do select sky. I wanted it to be more effect to the top of the sky and less to the bottom of the sky. And what I did was I reduced the exposure by 1.59 stops, and I increased the clarity from 0 all the way up to 80. But it's not actually like increasing the clarity to 80, because it's not 100%. As you can see, it'd be blood red if it was getting all of this. It's just a feathering. So there's what it looked like before the linear gradient, and there's what it looked like after. Just gave a lot more definition to the sky. As you can see, this is without and this is with. I think it looks much better with the linear gradient that I did. Also, you may notice in this original version, this tree continued past right here and dipped into the water, and where the water was wavy, I didn't like the way it looked. So I pulled this over into Photoshop and I worked on it, and as you can see, I used AI to cut it off right there, and AI put me some water in its place that looks just like the water. That doesn't look good. In my opinion, that looks much better. And this is the final version after it went through Topaz Denoise AI. Phil, why did you run an ISO 64 picture through Topaz Denoise AI? And the answer is, I like the way the Topaz Denoise program sharpens. I always run my pictures through that, whether or not they are high ISO. And in the end, this was by far my favorite photo of the day. I hope you like it as well. I planned to do the entire 4.5 mile Bay Point Loop trail, or 4.3, 4.7, whatever it is. But something is wrong in my stomach. I have an upset stomach, and I think I might get sick. So I'm getting the hell out of here. I got about a mile to hike to the car and about a 5 or 10 minute drive home. So I gotta hurry. Wish me luck with that. Hope you enjoyed the content. That's the bad news. I'm kind of cutting my photo shoot off early because of this health problem I got going on right now. The good news is I'm sure I got at least one shot that I like a lot, and maybe 2 or 3 that I like a pretty good bit. So that made today worthwhile. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, reach down, hit thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. If you want to see some more stuff like this, subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye from the Bay Point Loop trail.